Hi guys, Kerry here from Essential Nails. This video is going to be a combination of the last two that we've just done. The Salon French nail with the reverse smile line and the one following that, which was acrylic encapsulated design with some colours and some stripes. We're going to combine the two. So I've done a stiletto nail with a reverse smile line, and then we've put candy stripe colours in just to show you the process and how I work through it when I'm sculpting a long nail and encapsulating glitter in it. Now we're going to combine the two techniques from the first two sculpting videos together. So the reverse smile line with the acrylic design work on the free edge. So I'm going to fit a form on this size 13 nail bed on the nail trainer hand. Again, I'm just going to put a couple of little slits in it to make sure that it fits well. Takes the tension off the form just where the free edge is. Okay. Now you could use either of the two different methods. You could put a clear base down if you wanted, or you can just go straight in and work on the form. And I'm going to take a little bit of the monomer out to the back of the bead, place it on the free edge here. I'm just going to feather it up into the nail so that you get a nice blend. Letting gravity do its thing, look, it's just slowly working its way down the form. Now I don't want to press down on top of this product this way because I don't want to take any of the height out. See, look, we all get it wrong sometimes. It was a little bit too wet and it's sinking down quickly, so just have to keep controlling it. It's polymerizing now, so it will start to solid up pretty quickly. There we go, it's starting to stay put. I'm going to make this quite a sharp smile line, quite pointy. To mirror the free edge, I think we'll do a little stiletto with colour acrylic. I've come down quite a way on the form because I do want to have quite balanced proportions of pink to coloured free edge. If you're going to go really, really long, I like to have at least a third. Short salon nails, I like it to be 2/3 pink and a third free edge, but the other way round, as long as it's sort of still balanced. I'm going to leave that to set up now, but I am going to apply another bead near the cuticle. So I make my brush a nice flat paddle and I just tap around the cuticle. You don't have to do a lot to the product, look, just tapping it out, sinking into place on its own. You don't want to overwork the product. That's when you get problems with it and air bubbles in it. So I'm just very gently skimming my brush over the surface to pull the top bead into the second one. There we go, and you get this smooth, seamless blend. Just touching up around the sidewalls here, making sure that we're not going onto the skin. So now we've got to let this set so that we can just file and clean up. Now, same principles as before. On a real natural nail, you would have a little bit of flexibility in the nail. Obviously, the plastic nail beds don't have the flexibility, but it's still good practice for you to be using your pinching tool. So when you've put the cover pink on, I would give it a little bit of a pinch just to make sure that you're controlling those side walls. When your product is set, same as before, we're going to use the same process to clean up this smile line. We're going to sharpen it up. Trying very hard not to disturb the form. I'm going to clean the dust off. Pointy because it's going to mirror the shape of the nail. So as before, I do like to just clean up the form, get all the dust off, clean your brush. We're going to lay some colour in here, and the other technique from the other video, which was acrylic design in colour, we're going to use the same principles here, but we're going to butt it up to our smile line here. So I've got some black acrylic powder, just a tiny bit. And I'm going to do this in parts because the stripes run across the nail. Then I'm going to use a big bead of clear to finish off the point. I do the point here to make sure that you have enough product on. Then it's sort of easier to fill the gap between the very point of your nail and the side walls here. You can work your way back up then, applying beads to the form to make sure that you have a consistent thickness of product across the whole nail. Capping in all of the colour and the glitter that you've just applied to the free edge. Now, whilst you have product which is setting here, and it's gone pretty hard already, you're going to apply fresh product to it that's wet again, and it will re-soften the layers underneath, so you still will be able to go in and pinch afterwards. Just try and get all this clear on so that it starts to set, and we'll get to a point where we can pinch the nail again, pinch the free edge. Always checking you have enough product from apex down this spine of this nail as well. You don't want to have any big dips in it where there's not enough product when you're filing, and then you have to go back and fill it with another bead of clear afterwards. Better to check first. This is usually always the weakest point where people don't get enough product, right up in these corners. It's usually where the first cracks appear. So now I have a lot of bulk product on there now with the stripes encapsulated. We're going to let it set up a little bit before we get the pinching tool on. You can always pinch up the form underneath a little bit to help give it that shape whilst it's setting. And the important bits here are these side walls where we're going to put the pinching tool in a minute. Right, so we got to the point where we can apply a pinching tool without doing any damage to the nail. If it's too soft, you will just squash all the acrylic that you've applied already. So you can see already, look, it does have an effect still. This pinching tool is pinching in the side walls there. And we'll just leave that on now. Right, this pinching tool's been on for a couple of minutes. Nail is fully set now. And we're just going to peel out the form. There we go. So we have some stripes. Flick the nail over, look. You can see stripes. Now, we didn't do the clear layer underneath this time, like we did with the other stripes, but you see the stripes through anyway. It's just that with my clients, if they come in and they have really, really long nails like this nail bed is so elongated that we can just e-file off the tip, and we can still use this to re-sculpt onto next time. So there's lots of different industry tips and tricks and different methods that people use. And sometimes people might just want to come in for one off, so you would soak them off anyway. You don't need to worry about clear base layer. It does sometimes make it easier for you to apply the acrylic colour on a base already rather than it slipping around on the form, but it's all personal preference. Now this is hard, we're going to file. So here we go, starting again with the side walls, supporting with my thumb. Then this side supporting with my fingers. If you don't support this nail, you're just going to be hanging around on that person's nail bed. It's going to be painful for them. And each file stroke again following in the one before so that you get perfectly straight edges. That rolling technique again will stop you getting flat spots. And it will make your stiletto very sharp and pointy, which is the whole point really. They're supposed to be. I see a lot of stilettos, people don't file them enough and they're lumpy and chunky and they're not what you would consider a true structure. I also hear comments on Facebook a lot that says, well, if you're having to file that much, you need a better file. Well, in actual fact, It's not about the file, it's about perfectionism. You must be very, very self-critical, and then your work will always improve. Checking underneath again. So here we go. Look, we have a very flat underside now. Now this corner still needs work. And obviously it's easy to get carried away on the nail trainer hand because obviously you are not filing real skin. But when you are working around these areas, you still have to be very conscious of the fact that you don't want to be damaging the client's sidewall skin or nail. You know, it could be painful for them. So I do tend to go a little bit easier around these areas when I'm working on a real hand. Same as last time. It's about the angle of your file. It needs to be angled into the cuticle here, working around that apex. There should be no step. You shouldn't be able to feel it. It should be seamless blend into the nail. Obviously, like laying the product is very important, and the more careful you are with laying the product, the less filing work you will have. But it's always been my opinion that the filing and the finish is probably the most important part of the process after the prep work. There's no point doing all of this hard work and all of this perfect filing if you haven't done your prep correctly and the nails fall off after a week. So preparation and finish for me are the two elements of putting a nail on where I put the most emphasis, really. Okay. This is now lovely and sharp, and I'm going to buff over with the soft block buffer just to remove the bigger scratches from the coarse grip file. When you've done a nail this sharp, you want to be careful you don't stab yourself as well whilst you're buffing. I've done that before. Straight in the end of my thumb. Okay, so here's the top coating part. So that is the combination of techniques from the last two videos, the reverse smile line and the glitter acrylic design, all combined into one nail. I'm just going to cure this now in the lamp.